So it's been a little while since I've dropped a update on the Twilight Monk video game. Yes, it is still in development. We have an awesome partnership with Gravity Games Arise. They are the publishers of Ragnarok Online. And this is a Metroidvania with heavy RPG influences and inspirations. I've been a little bit radio silent about it for a while because I'm trying to save some secrets. I want it to be a nice big surprise, a nice big meaty Metroidvania surprise when this game drops. And it is going to drop early 2025. Now that means that we are less than 7 months away from this game being in your hands. It's coming to Steam and also, so yes, it'll be on the Steam Deck as well for those of you who are Steam Deck owners. I love my Steam Deck. I also love the Nintendo Switch, so it's going to be available on the Nintendo Switch as well in February of 2025, if everything goes according to schedule. And so far, things are good. I do believe that many of the features that make Twilight Monk unique are going to change Metroidvania games forever. I strongly believe that. I know it's a bold statement, but having this world map, having this ability to traverse to multiple different kinds of environments, gives you a lot more of that sense of what you enjoy about Final Fantasy, the traditional Final Fantasy games, blended into a Metroidvania with dungeons that have a lot of exploration and a lot of rewards and a lot of reasons to come back to those dungeons. This isn't one dungeon with many different parts. This is like 14 or 15 different dungeons that you're going to be exploring, and you have to traverse a world map to get there. And that means that random encounters will occur and random events will occur along the way. This is something that no Metroidvania has ever done before. And so you're going to get a lot more variety of locations. This is a game that's all about exploration. You're going to be traveling to different towns. In those towns, you're going to find shops, you're going to find side quests, you're going to find mini games. Yeah, that's right, mini games. Games within the game, man. In those towns, you're also going to meet some interesting NPCs that are going to give you clues as to hidden things in the world. And we've hidden a lot of interesting things in the world. All of our animations are hand-drawn. There's no AI used here. There's no puppet animation. It's all hand-drawn. And that gives a kind of a life to the characters that just looks more crafted. Everything about this game is handcrafted. It's really important that the player feels that this was made by artists and made by humans. There's no AI used in this game. There's none of that crap. It's all the real deal. If you're a reader and you've read the Twilight Monk novels that came out a few years ago, then you'll find very familiar characters in places like Giant's Crown. There's a big chapter of this game that takes place in Giant's Crown. The more you explore, the more you get rewarded with some pretty cool new abilities, which I won't spoil too much of, but I want to tell you about the Mystic Arts. Mystic Arts are basically secondary weapons that use Ember. You can collect Ember by smashing lanterns or defeating enemies. Your normal weapon is your pillar, but your pillar has limited reach, so getting something like the daggers allows you to fire projectiles at a longer distance and cut through enemies. There's so many different mystic arts, and there's so many different talismans and different ways to build your character depending on your play style. My favorite mystic art is the chakrams, which throw out in this kind of a bulb-style arc, and that gets you a lot more vertical attacks, but they also sort of follow you for a second. We have some mystical spears, but we also have axes in case there are any flying enemies you want to axe a question. And if you want to get a little hammer time going, we got that covered as well. That one comes in handy in a boss fight. We've added a few dozen talismans. Talismans are going to be the key to customizing the way you play. Some of them will increase the movement speed, or some of them are going to enhance some of your mystic arts. We're at the point in the game's development now where we have the entire game playable from start to finish, credits rolling, and pretty much we know the scope of everything now at this point in the game, and now we're going in and making those dungeons look really cool with like nice atmospheric fog and better lighting and just overall improvements to the animations and adding little subtle particle effects to things to really give the player a lot more of an engaging experience of interacting with the world. And things that I didn't know about in the story are finally coming together, and they're tying together in a way that almost makes me feel like maybe there was some external force just feeding the information to me like, hey, plant this character. You'll figure out a solution to why they're there later. Yeah, well, it turned out to be really important that they were there because we needed something to solve this problem in the story. And all that's really coming together to create a nice, solid, cohesive, very humorous story that I don't know that people realize just how much this is sort of a lighthearted comedy. Even though it has a very dark aesthetic, it's got a lot of my sense of humor and the sense of humor of the team. A lot of things that I'm writing into this game are really just to kind of make the team laugh, and as well as myself. I mean, I get a little chuckle sometimes when I'm putting some of these things into the game, and that's the whole point. That's the thing that makes it exciting to be doing. It's not like I'm just designing characters for somebody else to do, as I've done for like 20 or 30 years on some pretty cool games, and I'm not unhappy about them, but this is a totally different experience, and it's so much more fun to be writing a game again. There's a lot of really cool extra treats in here for those of you who've been invested in the Twilight Monk universe. If you've read the novels, if you've got the art books, if you've read the comic, the manga that was out a long time ago, there's a lot of cool Easter eggs, and it ties all that together. This is essentially the continuation of those story elements, but it's not necessary to read those books in order to enjoy this game. I tried to make it a self-contained story. It sort of picks up in such a way that you're aware that there's history between characters, but that's not the important part. The important part is the current conflict. The story goes through some twists and turns. It's got a little bit of espionage in there, and but mostly it is an action RPG Metroidvania. And I chose to go that route because I wanted the game to be challenging, but also accessible to many, many people. This is a little bit, we're not going Dark Souls level of difficulty here. I enjoy those games, but that's not exactly what we're aiming for with this. I really wanted to get that difficulty level that we see in games like Symphony of the Night. I would definitely say that we got very ambitious with this game. And I would say that most of everything that I wanted to do in this game is getting into this game. And I really hope that it satisfies players that want a Metroidvania RPG adventure. Because we really want to evolve this. We want to grow it. I don't want to just stop at Twilight Monk 1. Like I want to keep going with this series. There's so many more things I want to do. It is a complete story, but there is so much more that I wanted to do that I have to kind of save it for the sequel, because we want to get this game into your hands. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm hoping that I get a chance to tell more stories in this universe. For those of you who've wish listed the game over on Steam, I want to thank you so much. It really does matter. Like every wish list on Steam matters. It helps with the algorithm to push us up. And if you're interested in learning more about the Twilight Monk universe, check out some of the art books and illustrated novels that are available over on Amazon in print and ebook editions. I also have all that over on my Gumroad channel as well, if you want to just go directly through me. Thank you so much for stopping by. What do you want to know more about with the Twilight Monk game? I'd love to answer your questions, so please leave those in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, ciao.